Hey Siri, play my favorites.
Hey yo, what is going on you guys? Alejandro here and welcome back to the episode of Magayon. In this episode, we're going to be we're going to be hosting the 36th Olympic Games in Magayon. Now, this video is going to be a little bit of a different type of video. We're going to be focusing more on planning and laying things down rather than setting things in stone. Looking at Magayon from a broader perspective, what infrastructure we already have to accommodate the requirements for an event of this scale, which only ever happens every 4 years. Well, if you count the Winter Olympics, it actually happens every 2 years, but you get it. It only happens very rarely, and it's very well prepared. It takes a lot of time to plan and to assess and, to do research on the viability of this project. We're going to be assessing the current state of Magayon as is, and we're going to be looking at Magayon on the long term because that's essentially how they planned this out for the Olympics. Now, we're going to be assessing what infrastructure we already have in place so far in the series, and we're going to be imagining some infrastructure that were already here in place, because the city is not quite built yet. So we have to imagine that there were actually older buildings here that could be used as venues for these games, and even constructing newer ones to fit the regulations of the IOC or whatever. And also making sure that the infrastructure of Magayon would be able to handle the sudden influx of athletes and tourists that would be staying in Magayon for the next 16 days during the 36th Olympic Games. The Olympics has been used as an event to put the spotlight on the host city and the host country, and it has been used by the governments of these nations to push through infrastructure projects to better help the citizens of the city. But sometimes those infrastructure projects are not as good as they seem. A lot of host cities are in debt, or most of their facilities are underused and even abandoned to some degree. Like in Rio, Athens, and I think Beijing, it's underutilized. And it has been questioned by some if the Olympics is still worth even hosting in the long term, because in the short term, the host city makes a lot of money from the people attending the games, from tickets, from sales, but in the long term, they are stuck with debt. Now, some cities avoided this misfortune like London, but with the case of Rio, Athens, and even Beijing, most of their stadiums sit abandoned or underutilized by the population. Now, I don't want that to happen in Magayon, so we are going to be reusing old facilities and just revamping them to handle the requirements of the International Olympic Committee or the IOC. And yeah, I'm going to be going into the map and just drawing things down where the venues are going to be, what facilities we're going to have, where the Olympic Village is going to be. Now, this episode is the planning episode, and in the next episode, we're actually going to be building those places. Now we're in the map. I'm using my iPad. This is Procreate. This is where I draw stuff, and it's amazing because you can use layers. But yeah, that's a whole different. If you guys want a tutorial on Procreate, I can teach you. But mind you, I'm not the best at this. And yeah, don't mind the chickens crowing at the background, by the way, because it's afternoon while I'm recording this. And yeah, I don't have that much time anymore because classes are about to start, and we're actually doing a lot of preparing for school. And it's amazing that I could fit this episode in this tight schedule. But yeah, here is the Olympic part. This is the brand new district for the entire Magayon. It's dedicated only to the Olympics, because hosting the Olympics has changed the entire series, and we're going to be doing a lot of changes in the next episodes. Now, this is what we're going to be building in the 36th episode, mainly just the sports hub, like the center, like the national stadium, the aquatic center, and a gym, I guess. Here's a picture of that, taking inspiration from Jakarta with a torch, with the tower. And this is going to be where judo, taekwondo, and karate is going to be played at, and it's named after Wan Xin, which has been a long time subscriber and has helped me launch my Discord server. So if you guys want to join the Discord server and even be named after a building, or have a building named after you, it wouldn't be named after a building. I mean, Paris Hilton was named after Paris, the place. So anyways, yeah, you just saw like SM Magayon. SM Magayon will be handling tons of sporting events, and you'd see that later on in the video, the sports that's going to be held. But if you saw that a while ago, it doesn't matter. Now this thing right here is the Rizal sports complex, and since it's inspired by Rizal in the Rizal sports complex here in the Philippines. Now this is going to be the old sport complex. It's going to be quite small, as you can see. It's only taking up that space, but the sports facilities that is newer has a bigger stadium, even though it's smaller actually. Let's just imagine, because the city is scaled way off. But yeah, this proved quite a challenge because I didn't know where things were going to be, and I didn't know what sports the Olympics even, I didn't know what sports there were. I'm not actually interested in sports, I'm very much not an athletic person, if you can say, but I did some research and I found out that there are tons of sports, and I wasn't exposed to any sports. But yeah, the Tico River will be hosting the canoeing and the rowing, and I was not able to record it, but the Magayon Trail, or the bike network going across the entire city, will be hosting the cycling. And I'm also thinking, if Magayon should host the the Grand Prix, because it has a lot of challenging roads. I don't know, it's just an idea to put out there. But yeah, SM Magayon is another huge sports hub, and we're gonna be having equestrian here on the far end. I don't know what equestrian is. I think it's like horses and they're like running. I honestly have no idea. But yeah, it was quite fun planning these out, but actually accomplishing it is yeah, like that. But yeah, as I've said, to handle the amount of traffic, you have to make sure that the infrastructure can handle it. Now the city has quite an extensive bike network, and I think it can handle that pretty easily, but we have to have mass transit. Now we have that MRT line, which is the blue one, and we have the Magayon Boulevard. It's just like a road, massive avenue that could handle connecting all the venues together. And this is going to be a convention center, you'd see later on in the video. And yeah, since I was just in a map, I just decided that I would be planning the next few episodes, or the next stage of Magayon. I actually think we're actually in the 4th phase of Magayon, where we build massive infrastructure projects, medium detail but high, a lot of development. So you see me place this airport here and that interchange right there. Now this is going to be the old international airport. It's still in use, a little bit, but it has been replaced by this much larger international airport, which is better connected to the system because it has direct access to high-speed rail, it has direct access to the highway network, and later on it's going to have direct access to the metro line, because I'm extending the MRT. I will be extending the MRT all the way to the international airport, and yeah, it's gonna be nice. It's the MRT airport link. Now boarding flight 57225 bound to Magayon. Flight attendant. But yeah, I also decided to plan out where the residential is going to be. I think I should just plop down residential buildings everywhere because the city feels quite empty. I think I'm gonna dedicate that an episode on later episodes, but I think placing down rivers in later episodes, we're going to be doing that. I think I'm going to be having a special episode on the 40th, episode 40, and a very special episode on episode 50. I don't know, we'll see. I'm quite busy. I'm going to be quite busy with school, so we'll see if we even make a special episode, but you never know. So yeah, a lot of reverse, pabaliktad, opposite, reverse. So we have a lot of rivers there because, why not? Now we are in the city. 9 minutes into the video, saka pa lang tayo magsisimula. O Tagalog. 9 minutes in the video, we have just started with the actual build. Now, mind you that this time lapse is quite fiddly and it's quite messy and it doesn't make much sense, but I will try my best to explain what's happening on the screen. So what you're seeing here is the complete reconstruction of this part of the city, because I actually had 7 attempts. No, just kidding. I had 3 major attempts which took like an entire week to just lay out and plan, and I was never satisfied with any of them. So I decided, I'm just gonna redo this everything and put the stadium first and then develop it afterwards, because I'm taking inspiration from Singapore, the National Sports Hub. Here's a picture of that, and it's planned in a way that there would only be the sports stadium in the center and all the sporting facilities would be below it, I guess, or it's part of just one building, and it's kind of nice. It's an amazing way to use space, and that's why I freaking love architecture. And yeah, I actually drew some sketches for that, but you know, we can't do specific. I can't design assets here, and I think in Minecraft I would have been able to design my own buildings, but you can't do like curves and slopes, and I love curves and slopes and angles. You know, Minecraft is a little bit blocky. Girl, Minecraft is blocky. It's a block game. What do you expect? My brain is not functioning anymore. But yeah, with the brain malfunction tangent out of the way, I am doing this like it's gonna be an expressway. It's land reclaimed, so yeah, inspired by Singapore. This is where reclaimed land. We're gonna be connecting this with connecting the Silangan Expressway. Yeah, Silangan Expressway is this one. It's gonna go straight through this, and we're gonna have the Magayon Trail going also alongside this road, and the Magayon Trail will terminate at the Sports Hub. In the next episode, you'll see that happen. But yeah, we have to have infrastructure in place, if you know what I'm saying, because when I was starting off this venture of building an Olympic stadium or hosting the Olympic Games in Magayon, I was like, I'm just gonna build a stadium. Nice. But then I realized that it was so much more than what I thought, and it ended up taking too long of a time. And by the way, if you're wondering what noise is in the background, if you can even hear them, those are chickens, because it's 4 p.m. and it's their time to eat, and I don't have enough time to record this. So yeah, I'm terribly sorry about that. But I'll make it up to you in the next episodes, because that's where we're gonna be doing detailing. But yeah, we're now here at SM Magayon. We've got it all for you, and they literally have a football stadium on the rooftop, because there are actually plans to have a football stadium on top of SM Mall of Asia. Here's a picture of that. Yes. And this is just gonna be a gymnasium and, you know, sporting facilities. I don't have specific, like, I don't know what sports are gonna be in there. You know, I just wanna see the place built up, and we're not gonna be doing a lot of detailing here as well. But along the SM by the Bay, there's like this park here. There's an amusement park in front of it with a Ferris wheel, and that is where skateboarding and beach volleyball is going to be held. Now, a lot of venues are just temporary venues, so we're just going to be placing some stairs to be used as seating, because that's essentially it. You know, to save money, because a lot of Olympics have been over budget, and we don't want to be over budget. Even though the city could handle it, it's quite a rich city. We don't like it. Yes. Now, this thing here, it's a very, very big convention center or something. I don't know. Basta, I think it can handle a lot of sporting events together at once. And with the amount of roads this has, with direct access to the Magayon Trail, and with the line of the MRT terminating here, this would be a perfect place to, visit. You could either ride a train to get here, use the highways to get here, or bike to get here. It's all connected. But sadly, I don't think you could ride the ferry to get here, because the ferry is only serving the Tikot River, because why not. But yeah, I'm going to be focusing mostly here and on the Rizal Sports Complex for this episode, and just laying things out for the Sports Hub in the end of the video, because the end of the Sports Hub will be its own dedicated episode. And yeah, we're connecting it with elevated walkway so that the athletes would not be walking in the crowd and connect the mall directly to the event center. And there's an Astrodome here or something. I don't know, it just looks cool, and the size of it is kind of nice. And we have this building here. It's actually a university, but I'm just clipping buildings down together to to give it a unique vibe and unique taste. And all of these are not going to be permanent, but some of them are. This building right here is going to be the Philippine International Convention Center, I guess. Basta, it's this building right here. Yes, we're going to be building that in the future. And yeah, this is going to be what I'm building here is the land reclaimed city. It's going to be very new, so it's the City of Pearl land reclamation. I've been teasing this for the past few episodes. Here's a picture of those teases. Yeah, those are it. It's gonna look like that, but yeah, I was bored, so I decided, why don't I just place buildings? Because I've been purging the asset to prepare the workshop to prepare for this venture. I had to scavenge. I have to go around the Steam workshop to find assets that would actually match, and I ended up downloading tons of assets from the workshop because why not? And yeah, this is gonna be very modern, very sleek, very nice, very Singapore-ish, giving me Qatar vibes. As you can see, the skyline, the shape beside the water. But yeah, those buildings are not set in place. I just wanted to get a skyline done or something in place to make it feel complete. Wow, look at that, very beautiful. And got carried away again, so I decided to build this flood protection thing, which is also like a highway. It's inspired by the I think it's cancelled, but it's inspired by the plans in Qatar for the FIFA World Cup, I guess, where they're connecting the coast, the northern part of the city to the southern part where the stadiums are, I guess, to so that they wouldn't have to go through the entire city just to go to the other side of it. And yeah, look at that, big, gigantic. And I'm also thinking that it would be like kind of inspired by the Dutch, because Magayon is, the capital city is at sea level, and we're hosting, and the city is set in 2030, so I think it's 2034 here or 2035. And yeah, the city is flooding. As you can see on the side, it's already flooding. Yes, because I elevated the land, and the water was there before, so yeah, that's that. And this is like the PICC, I guess. And you saw those buildings a while ago. I was just seeing those buildings that I downloaded from the workshop and seeing which buildings fit the vibe and which could be used as venues for the sports. And yes, we're already doing the Olympics, and the city's population, it's kind of big, but we don't have that much visual cues that the city is actually populated because, a lot of empty spaces. But yeah, there's this cute little fountain in front of it, and we're going to be now building the Rizal Sports Complex. Now, once again, mind you, I'm just placing down buildings everywhere, and this is where baseball, track and field, running, athletics, tennis, those stuff. I don't know anything about sports. And yeah, I'm just placing buildings here, and I'm using from the university's DLC, and these buildings are functional. I'm focused on aesthetics, but I also want to see the traffic flowing into these parts of the city when the game is happening. And yeah, since I wanted to feel the pressure of hosting the Olympic Games, and I certainly did just by planning this, I felt the pressure. But yeah, I'm just placing things down. Yes, clipping things together, amazing. Move it, amazing. And we're also going to be having a school here, a university, I think. Well, actually, the Rizal Sports Complex has De La Salle University beside it. So I'm thinking I'm going to have like a school here, and that school also uses that facilities exclusively. They have a priority to use those facilities. And there's a mall here because beside the Rizal Memorial Stadium, there is Harrison Plaza, I think, the first ever shopping mall in the Philippines. And yeah, I wanted to pay homage to that, and that would be an amazing place. Like after the games, you can go shopping, or while waiting for the games, you can stay in the restaurant or whatever. And it also has parking. Now, this part, actually nearing the end of the video, I'm only going to be glossing over. I'm just going to be going over this quite lightly on the sports hub, because I actually haven't finished it yet. It's going to be in the next episode. Yes, quite excited for that. But yeah, this building right here is actually two buildings. It's Camp Nou from the from the Match Day DLC, and I downloaded the Tokyo Stadium, the new Tokyo National Stadium from the workshop. Now the Tokyo Stadium has some issues with the textures and the seating is quite blurry, so I decided to use Camp Nou as the base of it, and it was quite large. I mean, it has to be gigantic because its capacity is 80,000, and it's in the middle of it's the Olympics. It's gonna host the Olympic Games, so it has to be massive. But yeah, with the scale of this, I decided to shrink it down, but it still looks big from the ground or whatever with the scale of Magayon. But yeah, I would have used the stadium by Zaha Hadid, but the one in the workshop was gray, and I kind of like the design, but the color gray just doesn't sit well with me because it's supposed to be white though. It has to have like a similar aesthetic to this one with the bamboo and the wooden design timber. I think kind of looked nice. I don't know why Japan skipped on that because it was $2.3 billion, I guess, but they wanted to push through because the new one is actually 1.7, I think, but they kind of missed out on that. They're already way over budget with the Olympics, and why didn't they just completed this one? But yeah, it would have been an icon, but it is what it is. Now, I'm not going to be going too deep into how I designed this National Sports Hub. If you guys want to check that video, that would be the next episode. If this next episode is already up, it would be linked down below. But yeah, this is the end of the video. If you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, comment down below what you want to see next, and of course, don't forget to subscribe. Only 30% of you guys are subscribed, so if you subscribe, it would help up the algorithm so much, and it would help me reach a wider audience and help the channel grow. But if you guys want to support me even more, you can become a patron on patreon.com/Calejandro and get exclusive contents, early access, and so much more. Not only would you be helping me financially, you'd also be helping me, continue to creating these types of videos. And yeah, this video is coming to an end. Like, share, subscribe. This is Calejandro signing off. Bye!